Так, всем привет. OBS говорит то, что стримчик уже пошел. А это значит, самое время проверить это. Так ли это или нет. На вашем канале началось так, уведомление пришло. Супер, посмотреть канал. Опа. Реально в эфире, кстати. И, кстати, на тамбнейле так ли это или нет. Так, все супер получается. На вашем канале началось. Да, по идее все супер. Можно теперь спокойно начинать тему нашего стримчика. Это, конечно же, C++. Я думаю, мы сделаем так, что мы закроем все вкладки. И откроем новую вкладку сразу с чатом. И пойдем изучать C++. Давайте спросим... Не, давайте сначала прогуглим, что нам выдаст Google. C++ online course from zero to hero. Но это неплохой маркетинг, как сказать, лозунг для маркетинга. Codefinity, не знаю, что нам здесь рекламирует. Этот сайт пока что не внушает особого доверия. Ответьте на вопросы. No, sorry. Что-то мне не нравится такое начало. Я не совсем доверяю вот таким вот, как бы в плане качества, даже сугубо в плане качества. Основы языка программирования C++. Udemy. Вот Udemy уже, кстати, я видел. Опа! За 15 евро можно купить от новичка к профессионалу изучение C++ с нуля с опытным разработчиком от Яндекса. 4.4. Вполне неплохо. Материалы курса. 24 лекции и основа многопоточного программирования. Я как бы... Так, я софтвер-инженер с большим опытом работы в области IT. Слабый курс. Курсера. Но там, по-моему, тоже все платное. Я не против как бы платного, но не уверен, что я прямо сейчас хочу залетать на какой-то прям платный курс. Это problem solving. Кодирование для всех C и C++. Ну, C я уже немного изучал, но, кстати, лишним не будет. Начинается 20 января. 20 января это сегодня, кстати. На языках программирования понимать алгоритмы. — 40 часов. 116 тысяч зарегистрировано. Ну, блин, Курсера это, конечно, популярный сайт, но, блин, 116 тысяч на C++ довольно удивительно. Окей, давайте продолжим с учетной записью Google. Ненавижу лишние рассылки. Так что не соглашаемся. Так, 7-дневное бесплатное обучение. Ко всем курсам специализации. Делитесь мнением на форумах, обсуждений и многое другое. Но это интересно, но здесь нам предлагают участвовать бесплатно. Ага, то есть они хотят 7-дневный... Ага. Чем соблюдать строго университетское расписание. Более 100 миллионов на Курсере? Вы что, серьезно? 100 миллионов? Блин, ну это на самом деле интересно. И, кстати, 45 евро в месяц за обучение это вообще не так много, на самом деле. Но... Проблема с этими платными курсами то, что не совсем представляю, как мне сейчас это активировать, потому что здесь надо вводить свою карту, как я на стриме буду это делать. Притом здесь вообще ничего звездочками не закрывается. Но это, конечно, жалко. Хотя я бы попробовал Курсеру. Может быть, у них есть приложение на телефон. Давайте посмотрим. Есть ли что-нибудь Курсера? Курсера есть. Интересно. Притом рейтинг 4,9. Я даже удивлен. World's Best Learning Online. Ну, это сильное заявление. Makes amazing courses available for everybody. A lot of different specializations. Something for everybody who is interested of learning something more. Заинтриговали. Может, я смогу сейчас войти с телефона и оформить пробную подписку с телефона. Профиль. Почему я не могу просто войти? Вот логин. Логин нашел. Google. Ага. Выбираю аккаунт Гугла свой на телефоне. Угу. И теперь. Мне нужно найти, наверное, вот этот как раз-таки курс. Глубокое понимание компьютерного программирования, научившись кодировать, отлаживать и решать сложные задачи. Блин, ну это отлично. Это более чем отлично. Это то, что непосредственно нам надо. Давайте я гуглю. Опа! Да, кстати, да. Я нашел. University of California. Правильно или неправильно? Было здесь что-то про Калифорнию. Про университет Калифорнии. Я же видел. Вот. ЮЦ Санта-Крус. Да? Санта-Крус. Сейчас я попробую с телефона активировать старт с 20 января. Да, мы это уже видели. Так, 100% онлайн, flexible deadlines, approximately 6... Опа. Угу. No prior experience required. Угу. Так. Сейчас see enrollment options. Не совсем понимаю, почему у них в приложении нету вот этого вот бесплатного 7-дневного трайла. Здесь есть только 61 евро в месяц плюс и... Не, это что-то не то. Бесплатно же было. Так, может быть, здесь есть что-то бесплатное, хотя бы с каким-нибудь пробным периодом. Нет, здесь нету никакого пробного периода. Это меня расстраивает. Так, где мы можем сделать обратно? Так, я вообще не понимаю. Вот, да, туплю. Learn C++. Вот Code Academy есть еще, кстати, в принципе, возможно, даже annual pro membership using code. Не, annual нам вряд ли нужно сейчас. Ну, кстати, для 7000 отзывов 4.4 это вполне неплохо. Time to complete 11 hours. Ага. Ну, давайте попробуем хотя бы на Code Academy что-нибудь провернуть, так скажем. Возможно, у нас здесь получится это лучше, чем на Курсере. Bjarne Stroustrup and his team at Bell Laboratories in 1979. Так, сейчас момент. Uh, 40 years later, it is one of the most widely used languages in the world. We can find C++ applications everywhere, from the bottom of the oceans to the surface of Mars. Derived from the C language, Bjarne's goal was to add object-oriented programming into C. A language well respected for its portability and low-level functionality. So why learn C++ among many other things? It's fast and flexible. It's well supported. It forces you to think in new and creative ways. Вот это, кстати, прикольно. In this lesson, we'll start learning some basic concepts and you'll write your very first C++ program. Don't worry if some words don't make much sense right now. We'll learn about them in a bit. Hello C++ file in the code editor that is placed in the middle of the screen. It's a C++ program. Int main std count hello world. What? Что это такое? Programs are stored in files, which usually have the file extension C++, which simply stands for C++. Okay, the code inside our C++ file is a classic first step all new programmers take. They greet the world through the terminal. The terminal is the black panel on the right. It should be blank right now. The code in the text editor will print text out into the terminal. More specifically, it will print the phrase hello world. Before they will explain what all that mumbo jumbo is, let's run the program to see what happens. Ну, понятное дело, это будет у нас hello world. В принципе, пока мы ничего нового не узнали. High five, we just got your first program to run. Okay, C++, like most programming languages, runs line by line from top to bottom. Here is the structure of a C++ program. Libraries. Okay, библиотеки. Библиотеки понятно. The main function. Понятно. Beginning of function. Понятно. End понятно. Okay. In between the curly braces is what we're going to focus on for now. std code. Ну, /n это новая линия, это понятно. Code непонятно, что это. Is the character output stream. То есть да. It is pronounced C out. Character output. Okay. Is an operator that comes right after it. Hello world. New. Is what's being outputted here. You need double quotes around text. The /n is a special character that indicates a new line. Semicolon is a punctuation that tells the computer that you are at the end of a statement. It is similar to a period of a sentence. Let's write the whole std_count statement from scratch. Inside the curly braces, type the following and press run. Okay. std code code academy /n Okay. Pattern. We learned how to output a line of text with the following code. std count C out, точнее, да. It will output. Понятное дело. We can also output multiple lines by adding more std count statements. Ну да, это понятно. This will output. Так. Now let's use what we learned so far to complete a coding challenge. 2 lines in the output. Edit the code so that output the following pattern in the terminal. Это интересно. Полагаю, здесь будут, наверное, пробел, пробел, пробел. Пробел, пробел, пробел. Пробел 1. Пробел, 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 пробел. 2 пробел 3. И так далее, что ли? Здесь получается 4, 5, 6. Здесь получается да. Получается, что так. Да, вроде как да. Я не знаю, правильно сделал или нет, но давайте. Вау! Все работает. Все работает, и это хорошо. Кстати, ты Live Control Panel. У меня есть она вообще или нет? В просмотре 1. Это я, кстати. Ага. А вот комментарии я не знаю, где смотреть. Потом узнаю. В принципе, сегодня это не так важно. Так, пока все понятно. You have written a few C++ programs. In this lesson you have learned std code is how you output to the terminal. A letter to your future self. In letter.cpp, let's add the following. Goals to yourself, name and date +1 to mail the letter. Давайте напишем что-нибудь. Work hard. Интересно. Нет, так он не будет, правильно? Супер. Погнали дальше. Что нас ждет непосредственно дальше? Specific structure in terms of how the code is written. Let's take a closer look at the Hello World program line by line. Key elements that you use in all your C++ programs. Here we have a program called Hello C++. It's a classic first program. Int main. Да. Case sensitive. Case sensitivity means For example, the C++ keyword for outputting is cout. If you were to type cout or cout, the compiler wouldn't know that your intention was to use the keyboard cout. Don't be intimidated by all the new information. Okay, I'll go over Hello C++ program line by line. Single line comment. Да, это понятно. This known preprocessor. Compile to locate the file that contains the compiler to locate the file. It contains a code for a library known as EOStream. This library contains code that allows for input and output, such as displaying data in the terminal window or reading input from your keyboard. Called main function is basically a sequence of instructions for the computer to execute. This main function houses all of our instructions for our program. This is where we will be writing our code. Send the text hello world to the terminal for output. Okay. Judicious use of white space to create code that is easier to read. The compiler completely ignores the white space, with a small exception concerning if statements that will be covered later. It's highly recommended that you make use of white space to indent and separate lines of code to aid the readability of your source code files. Okay. Code save, compile, execute. To get a C++ program to run, you must first translate it from a human readable form to something a machine can understand. The translation is done by a program called a compiler. When you program in C++, you mainly go through 4 phases during development: code, writing the program, saving, compiling, executing via the terminal. Два, три, четыре. Using the terminal. The computer can only understand machine code. The compiler can translate the C++ programs that we write into machine code. You can you call on the compiler by using the terminal, which is the black panel to the right of the code editor that contains a $sign. To compile a file, you need to type terminal. To compile a file, you need to type G++ followed by the file name in the terminal and press enter. To execute the new machine code file, all you need to do is type странно. Да, точка слэш add.out. Угу. The executable file will then be loaded to computer memory and the computer CPU central processing unit. Execute the program one instruction at a time. Ooh. Удивительно. Compile and execute. Naming executables. Sometimes when we compile, we want to give the output executable file a specific name. To do so, the compile command is slightly different. We still need to write G++ and the file name in the terminal. Should be -o and then the name that you want to give to the executable file. Окей. Это в принципе easy. cpp -o hello. The compiler will then translate the C++ program hello cpp and create a machine code file called hello. Okay, to execute the new machine code file, all you need to do is type the executable file will then be loaded to computer memory and the computer CPU will execute the program one instruction at a time. Ну, здесь, в принципе, все понятно. It's often highly collaborative. In addition, error in code can quickly become difficult to understand when we return to it, sometimes only a few hours later. For these reasons, it is often useful to leave notes in our code for ourselves or other developers. Comments in the code that the compiler will ignore as our program runs. These comments exist just for human readers. Comments can explain what the code is doing, leave instructions for developers using the code, or add any other useful annotations. Two types of code: comments in C++. Single line comment, 2/. Also use a single line comment after the line of code. Okay, Ну и multiline comment, это понятно. Above what? Окей. Compile and execute spell.cpp using the terminal. Compile. Так. G++. Spell.cpp. Да, точно. Угу. Супер. You have learned compilation and execution using the terminal. Ага. Почему здесь как будто показывает... Так. What you read and write is called source code. Usually it's in English like language like C++. And what the computer executes is called executable object code or machine code, a machine language. Typically C++ source code files are given the suffix cpp or .h. Интересно. Линкер. Не знаю, что такое линкер. Препроцессор. That's interesting. The disk as a file with the extension .o. A linker then links the object code with standard library routines that the program may use and creates an executable image which is also saved on disk, usually as a file with the file name without any extension. Не понял. После компилятора получается .o. executable object code, okay. Links the computer CPU. Execute the program one instruction at a time. Okay, running hello world locally. On the Mac it's called the terminal, on Windows it's called the command prompt. Some of the instructions for downloading and installing G++ are outdated. Окей, давайте посмотрим вот это видео.
Hey, my name's Mike. I'm a developer from Philadelphia, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through running Hello World locally.
Я, кстати, надеюсь, что звук из компьютера идет нормально. И все слышно.
Developer from Philadelphia, and in this video I'm going to be walking you through running
Да, все вроде как хорошо.
Hello World locally.
Я, кстати, надеюсь, что
on Windows, and this is a C++ walkthrough. So we'll be covering the following key concepts, including compiling and running our C++ files, and then also naming our output files. And also I'll show you how to install the C++ compiler if you don't already have it on your computer. So let's head over to our Windows computer and get started. So over here on the Windows computer, I have this basic setup. Over here on the left, I have my File Explorer open, and I'm open here on the desktop where I have my hello.cpp file. Now this is that C++ file that we wrote during the lesson, and it's going to output hello world onto the screen. So if you look over here, I have the file open, and you'll see that this is a very small C++ file. All it's doing is it's just printing out hello world onto the console. So that's what we have over here, and that's here in my desktop folder. Next thing I want to do is open up my command prompt. And the command prompt is a program on our computer, which is going to allow us to navigate through the different folders and view all the different files on our computer, much like the File Explorer. But from inside the command prompt, we can compile and execute our C++ program. So that's why we're going to need to open it up. So you're going to want to come down here, and you're going to come to the search bar and type in CMD, and then click on the command prompt, and it should open you up to right here. Now, by default, the command prompt should open you up to your home directory, so your home folder. In my case, it's called Mike D. And remember, I have my hello program here in my desktop. So if I want want to be able to compile and run that, I'm going to want to navigate from the home directory here into the desktop directory. In order to do that, I'm just going to type in cd space and then desktop, and that'll bring me here into the desktop where this file is located. It's very important that you're in the same directory here on the command prompt that your file is in over here in the File Explorer for us to compile it. Now, in order to compile our C++ program, we're going to need a special command here on the command prompt, which is G++, just like this. Now, we're going to want to test to see if you have this installed or not. So I want you to type in G++ and then hit enter. Now, one of two things is going to happen. Either you have it installed or you don't. And if you don't have it installed, then you're going to get this message right here. It says G++ is not recognized as an internal or external command. If you don't get this, that means that you probably have it installed. You might get some other error message, but if you get a different error message, it probably means that you already have it. If you don't have this installed, I'm going to show you how to do that right now, and we'll get it set up for you. If not, you can just skip that part and move on to when we actually compile it. So for those of you that don't have G++ installed, I want you to head over to your browser, and you're going to go to mingw.org. That's
mingw.org. mingw.org. Окей, а что нам говорили вот... Ага, msys2.org. msys2.org. Да, вот он самый. Давайте посмотрим. Under the install heading, complete steps 1 through 4 to download and install msys2. We recommend that you choose the default folder for installation. Ага, вот она. And TFS volume, no accents, no spaces, no symlinks. Угу. Интересно, интересно. Реально интересно. Что же у нас скачается? Defender Smart Screen recognized up from starting. Run anyway. Что это за Microsoft Defender Smart Screen? Я вообще не знаю, что за Smart Screen. Я знаю Defender, как бы, да, но Smart Screen непонятно. msys2 setup. Specify the directory. Ну, по идее, да. To create the program's shortcuts. Installation finished. Next. Вау. Ничего себе. Интересно. Реально интересно. Окей, а что дальше? Ensure all packages are up to date and to install G++, be sure to enter the comments exactly. Steps 5 through 7, где? 5-7. For you and the terminal for the UCRT64 environment will launch. Окей. Давайте попробуем, я не знаю, вставить, что ли. Что? А, стоп. Я думаю, надо... Момент истины. Угу. Скоро установится. Уже. А, нет, еще нет. Да, получается, что все. И... So that you have not installed, you will need to add them to the path environment variable. Pick up in the video at 4.17, 4.17. 4.17 и the directory you add will be different. Угу. Це MC64. Mingo 64 bin. Ага. Сейчас замутим.
Last thing we're going to need to do. So in order for me to come over here to my terminal and be able to type in G++ just like that, I'm going to have to do what's called adding this to my path variable. So we're going to confirm and make sure
Path variables. Это типа переменные пути.
that that's in the correct spot. Open up your file explorer and you'll see here I have that installer. I can actually just get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. If you look in your local disk C, there should be a folder here called min.gw. And then if you double more, if you look in your local disk C, there should be a folder here called
min.gw, what? Нет, такой папки вроде как нету. Вот, вижу такую папочку.
min.gw. And then if you double click on that, there should be a folder in here called bin. So as long as you have those two folders there, then we should be good.
Да, получается, здесь было написано min.gw64 bin. Угу.
To go. You're going to head down to your search bar and you're going to start typing in environment. So ENVIR. You're going to hit this.
Environ. Блин, интересно.
And now you're going to click down here on environment variables. You're going to click over here to path, and then you're going to click edit. Now come up here to new, and you're going to type in /min.gw /bin. So this is that same folder that we looked at over here. And actually, looks like it should be a capital W here. So you're
going Окей, ну давайте попробуем скопировать. О, блин, что я делаю? Так, n2 path edit new, да, там было?
You're going to click OK, folder that we looked at over here. And actually, looks like it's min gw backslash. Now come up here to new, and you're going to...
Угу. Так, стоп, где это окно вообще? А, вот оно. New, и сюда мы вбиваем вот это вот. Получается, вроде как все верно. Нажимаем на ОК. Нажимаем на ОК.
You're going to type in backslash min a terminal. So X out of your terminal here. So you're going to click OK again, click OK a third time, and now you're going to restart your terminal. So X out of your terminal here, and then come down, and you're going to type in cmd, we'll reopen that command prompt. I'm saying command prompt or terminal. Those are two words that people usually use for this. So command.
Давайте спросим чата. Environment variable called path. The path variable is a variable that stores a list of the directories where executable files can be found. When you run a command in the command prompt or PowerShell, the operating system looks for a corresponding executable file in the directories listed in the path variable. It allows you to run executable files from any location on your system, having specify full path to executable every time. Instead, you can just type the command and the operating system will search for the executable in the directories listed in the path. Ну, окей, в принципе, плюс-минус понятно.
Command prompt and terminal are both interchangeable. So now from here, we're going to type in g++, and you'll see instead of getting that command not found error, we're getting a no input files error. And that's actually...
Давайте попробуем. Вот это уже...
Good news, that's what we want. That means...
Очень даже, кстати, непонятно. No input files. Что я не так сделал?
See, instead of use for this, so command prompt and terminal are both interchangeable. So now from here, we're going to type in g++, and you're going to type in cmd, we'll reopen that command prompt. I'm saying command prompt or terminal, those are two words that...
Но он вроде открыл просто вот так вот. Хорошо, давайте проверим еще раз. Path. Edit. Ага. Здесь почему-то не сохранилось, как я вижу. Реально не сохранилось. Ну, теперь вроде бы сохранилось. Перезапускаем. Command prompt. Так, момент истины. Непонятно. Абсолютно непонятно. Притом, если идти вот сюда и смотреть... Эта папка пустая почему-то. Абсолютно не пойму. Ну, теперь она вроде как есть. System variables. Стоп. Может быть... блин, а здесь даже, кстати, нельзя как бы отредактировать. Но здесь все максимально конкретно. Windows 64 bin. Вроде все грамотно написано. Вроде все более чем грамотно написано. Что озадачивает довольно-таки неплохо. Очень странно. Очень странно. Давайте посмотрим, я не знаю, еще раз.
I have that installer. I can actually just get rid of this. We don't. And then if you double part and you're going to start typing in environment, so ENVIR, you're going to hit this, and now you're going to click down here on environment variables. You're going to click over here to path, and then you're going to click edit. Now come up here to new, and you're going to type in \min gw \bin. So this is that same folder.
Окей, давайте попробуем сделать, как он сделал. Чуть-чуть по-другому. Я не знаю, правда, почему он так сделал. Вот так вот, например. Command prompt. G++. Это странно, это очень странно.
Folder that we looked at over here. And actually, looks like it should be a capital W here. So you're going to click OK again, click OK a third.
Очень странная ситуация, в которой вообще непонятно, что делать. Так, он даже сейчас не сохранил.
Third time.
Где-то 5 through 7. gsc минус version. Давайте проверим. gtc минус version, окей. Ну, да. Ну, gtc мы будто бы установили, а вот G++, он как будто бы... Compiler collection. Ну вот, кстати, непонятно здесь почему-то оно выдает то, что надо. No input files. А вот здесь... Ну окей, а может быть, если запустить от имени администратора, будет... блин, кстати... Короче, хз.
And now you're going to restart your terminal. So X out of your terminal here, and then come down, and you're going to type in cmd. We'll reopen that command prompt. I'm saying command prompt or terminal. Those are two words that people usually use for this. So command prompt and terminal are both interchangeable. So now from here, we're going to type in G++, and you'll see instead of getting that command not found error, we're getting a no input files error. And that's actually good news. That's what we want. That means that we have this set up now, so we're ready to start.
Может, стоит закрыть вот этот терминал и открыть вот этот терминал. Мне кажется, что-то с вот этой штукой. MSIS 64. Как он там
So here, and actually looks like it should be a capital W here.
Как бы папка реально пустая, но...
So you're going to click OK again, click OK a third time, and
перезагрузить. Вообще абсолютно непонятно. Может, после перезагрузки компа оно заработает.
Now you're going to restart your terminal. So X out of your terminal.
Но оно работало в каком-то этом... Не, это какой-то тотальное заблуждение в ситуации. Оно теперь вообще даже здесь не работает, хотя... А почему я видел... Стоп. Как сделать, открыть... Как открыть все окна? А, ну вот оно. Но опять же. Окей. Где больше ничего не должно быть открыто. Очень странно.
So you're going to click OK again. Click OK a third time, and now you're going to restart your terminal. So X out of your terminal here, and then come down, and you're going to type in CMD. We'll reopen that command prompt. I'm saying command prompt or terminal. Those are two words that people usually use for this. So command prompt and terminal are both interchangeable.
Она работает почему-то только вот здесь. CRT 64. А где находится G++? по идее, g++xz нужен. Не, окей, а вот здесь вот он будет или нет? UCRT64 bin. UCRT64 bin. Так, нет, стоп, я не то сделал. Нам нужно... UCRT64 bin. Давай чекнем еще раз на всякий случай. UCRT64. Вот оно где. Оно не в Ming 64 bin. В Ming 64 bin нету ничего. Ming W64 bin. Default 764. Сейчас оно должно, по идее, заработать. Командная строка. Да. Супер.
So now from here, we're going to type in G++, and you'll see instead of getting that command not found error, we're getting a no input files error. And that's actually good news. That's what we want. That means that we have this set up now, so we're ready to start compiling. So make sure that you're in your desktop. In my case, I have the folders or the file store there. So I'm going to cd into my desktop again, and I'll open that up over here. So we have our hello file. So in order to compile this, we're going to type in G++, and then we're going to type in the name of this file. So it's hello.cpp, and cpp is that C++ extension. So I'm going to hit enter now, and the computer's going to go ahead and compile this for us. So you'll notice here that I now have this file. And this file, if you right click and you go to properties, you'll see that it has an extension of .exe. And that means it's an executable file. So this file is called A, and this is the file that we can run, or we can execute in order to run our C++ program. So now in order to run our program, I'm just going to type in the name of the executable file. So I'm just going to type in A, and I'm going to hit enter, and you'll see that we were actually able to run this program. So that's how we can compile. Up here, we use that G++ command, and also run just by saying the name of the executable file. And then we printed out hello world, just like our program over here said that we should. So that's how we can compile and run. I want to show you guys one other thing that we can do. So you'll notice that the output file that the compiler generated is automatically called A, but you can actually change the name of that file as it outputs. So instead of calling it A, why don't we call it hello? So that way it's a little bit clearer what it's for. To do that, I can type in G++, hello.cpp, and I'm going to type -o, and then I'm going to type out the name of the file that I want to generate. So I could type out hello just like that. And now when I hit enter, you'll notice that we get this new executable called hello. So if I wanted to execute that, I can just type it in, and you'll see here that we get the correct output. So that's how you can compile and you can run your programs. So to compile, we use this G++ command and then the name of the file that we want to compile. And if you want, you can add on this extra.
Вот, кстати, здесь что-то пишут. Да, да. Erroneously tell users to set their Так, ладно.
Hey, my name's Mike. I'm a developer from Philadelphia, and in this video, I'm going to be walking you through running Hello World in Microsoft Visual Studio Code. We'll take a look.
Нет, стоп. Что если мы просто создадим новый файл? Открыть с помощью... Так, сюда мы напишем эту прогу. Где она вообще была?
That's how we can compile and run. I want to show you guys one other thing that we can change the name. Our program over here said that we should. So saying the name of the executable file. And then that's how we can hello thing that we can do. So you'll notice the name of the out program over here.
Так. /n. Угу. А, блин. Угу. Угу. Вот она. И... Так.
said that we should actually change the name of that file as it outputs. So instead of calling, I'm going to type out the name of the file that I want to generate. So I could type out hello just like that. And now when I hit enter, you'll notice that we get this new executable called hello. So if I wanted to execute that, I can just type it in and you'll see here that we get the correct output. So that's how you can compile and you can run your programs. So to compile, we use this g++ command and then the name of the file that we want to compile. And if you want, you can add on this extra little argument here, which will tell it what the name of the file it outputs should be.
Интересно. Интересно.
And then if you want to run it, you just type in the name of the executable that gets compiled or gets generated by the...
Окей, а что у нас насчет...
Look at the following key concepts, including installing Microsoft Visual Studio Code, adding a C and C++ language extension, and then also Microsoft Visual Studio Code. We'll take a look at the following key concepts, including installing Microsoft Visual Studio Code, adding a C and C++ language extension, and then also compiling and running our Hello World C++ program. So let's get started. Now, the instructions for installing Microsoft Visual Studio Code are very similar for both Windows and Mac. I'm on a Mac right now, but if you're on Windows, you should be able to follow along just fine. So we're going to head over here to Google and just type in Visual Studio Code, and up should pop either. That is downloading. I'm going to open the file up. Now, if you're on a Mac like me, you should just get Visual Studio Code, the actual application here, exported into your downloads folder. If you're on Windows, you're going to have to walk through a installer. Now, all you have to do is just go through the installer, click through, and keep all the default options, and then it'll be installed on your computer, and you'll be able to get going. If you're on Mac, you can just take this, and you're going to drag it over to the applications folder, and now code, and we'll Notepad or text. Essentially a text editor. So it's very similar to something like Microsoft Word or Notepad or TextEdit that you have on your normal computer, except this is a text editor that is designed for programmers and by programmers. So a lot of professional programmers, myself included, actually use a program like this, which we would call an IDE, in order to do all of their programming. So you'll notice over here on my desktop that I have this hello.c++ file. And so our goal is going to be to open this up, and we're actually going to run it from within Visual Studio Code. So you'll see here it says no folder open. So we want to click open folder. You can also come up here to file, and you can say add folder to workspace. And what we're going to do is we're going to add my desktop. So essentially you can add a folder here into Visual Studio Code, and it'll allow you to see all those files from within the program. So I'm going to click add, and then you'll see over here I have Studio Code, and it'll do is we're going to add my folder. You can also come up here to file, and you can say add folder to workspace. And what we're going to do is we're going to add my desktop. So essentially you can add a folder here into Visual Studio Code, and it'll allow you to see all those files from within the program. So I'm going to click add, and then you'll see over here I have desktop and hello.c++. So here is our hello program. Now down here, you'll see that it has a pop-up. It says the C++ extension is recommended for this file type. Basically, with Visual Studio Code, you can install a number of extensions which allow Visual Studio Code to work well with the language that you're using. So in our case, there's an extension available for us. So you can either click the install button down here. If this pop-up doesn't show up though, you can come up here to preferences, go to extensions, and then we're just going to type in C/C++, and it should be the first one that pops up. So we can here. If this pop-up doesn't show up though, you can come up here to preferences, go to extensions, and then we're just going to type in C/C++, and it should be the first one that pops up. So we can actually install these extensions. So right here, I'm going to click. You can see 14 million downloads. This is obviously very actually install these. I'm just going to pop-up doesn't show up though. You can come up here to preferences, go to extensions,